when the time of the direct comes, I want you, all of you viewers who are smart, look into like the little details that Nintendo says. They're not going to reveal a brand new console in the Nintendo Direct, but this is what you gotta look out for. Hello guys, girls and gamers, and welcome to my channel. I just talk about random game stuff that I feel like I have opinions about. But this time I want to talk about the Nintendo Switch 2, or whatever the console preceding the Nintendo Switch will be called. I think it will be very interesting to see if it comes out this year, because I'm still personally a bit skeptical if it will actually release. I know there's been like loads of rumors that it's just around the corner, but let's be fair, we've had like Nintendo Switch Pro rumors for like 4 years in a row. Never really came. We got like the OLED model, that was pretty much it, but there was never like a big revision of the Nintendo Switch, even though there was a bunch of rumors for that. So I am still skeptical whether or not like a new Nintendo Switch or the next Nintendo console would come out this year. I think that could be a bit too soon. There's a couple of things I'm a little worried about. And the one thing is just the Nintendo Switch. I feel like it's still selling well, and I still think if they want to, they can just prolong it by a year or a year and a half before we see another console. Then like after that, we also I think like have like the Nintendo Selects line, which is something that usually happens at the very end of a Nintendo console's life cycle. If you don't know, Nintendo Selects is basically like they take a bunch of games off from sale, which by the way has happened or is starting to happen, and then Nintendo brings it back onto the store shelves as a Nintendo Selects branding. And what this branding is basically is, hey, the games are a bit cheaper, and they're like the best of the consoles lineup. They're a bit cheaper, and it's a good way for those people who are still have that console but haven't gotten all of the games to really make them fork out for the best of the games. Like, hey, did you miss out on ARMS? Or hey, did you miss out on Super Mario Odyssey? Well, you're in luck, because now you can buy it for a discounted price that's forever discounted, basically. I think this happened with like the 3DS. It happened with the Wii U as well, but I don't remember what the specifics there were. But this happened with the 3DS like the last year or so. And then we got like games that were usually 40 euros or dollars, whatever currency you use, and then they were suddenly like 20, which was really a lot cheaper. Nintendo games rarely go on sales, but then they do this, which I think is a good strategy when it comes to your business. That hasn't happened to Nintendo Switch. It might be starting to happen, which is really interesting, but there's still some time that the Nintendo Switch can live out its like last year before a new console. So it could still like really be possible that we get the Nintendo Switch 2 like early next year. It doesn't have to be this year. It can still be early next year, or maybe middle of the next year, because we don't know when Nintendo is going to launch their new console. Like most of the time, when you release like a brand new console, they are wanting it to be for what is basically like the holiday season, because that is a major like market, kind of a major like shopping period for everyone. Everyone's going out and buying presents, and what's a better present than a brand new game console? That is wonderful. But the Nintendo Switch didn't do that. They went with a completely new strategy and they released their console in March. I think it was March 3rd to be specific. But yeah, that was really unprecedented at the time. And you know what? It worked out for them. For the holiday season, they had already built a really, really good library of games that made even more people buy the console. Instead of just having like The Legend of Zelda, which of course it's a brilliant game, but it might not be enough for some consumers. Instead, they had Zelda, Splatoon, Mario Odyssey, Mario Kart, so many more games for the holiday season. And I think that could be a strategy they want to try again. Another thing I want to mention is that this is really unprecedented times for the Nintendo Switch because we can't really compare it to a couple of the other generations that we have had, from Wii to Wii U and from the Wii U to the Switch, because times have changed quite a bit since. And from Wii to Wii U, it was under the leadership of Satoru Iwata, who has sadly now passed away quite a long time ago, before the Switch even arrived. And from Wii U to the Switch, Nintendo was in a lot of financial, well, not trouble, but they were not doing well with the sales of the Wii U. So they kind of had to hurry with the release of the Nintendo Switch. So can't really say what will happen with the Switch 2 comparing to these past events, because it's really not comparable. And before that, it was from the GameCube to the Wii, and that was like 20 years ago. So the market has changed so much since, so I don't feel comfortable comparing from that period either. Maybe if you want to, you can try and see what happens with the 3DS to the Switch or the DS to the 3DS, but still, these are a bit different cases, so it is hard to compare, what will happen with the Switch 2's launch, how it will be, when it will release, when it will be revealed. So yeah, that is hard to think about. And when it comes to finding out whether or not the Nintendo Switch 2 comes out this year, I think this month will be very, very important, because there is possibly a Direct coming, and Direct is when Nintendo announces most of their games, some release dates and blah blah blah, that kind of stuff. And heading out into this year, we only know of like a few Mario games coming out, but that is nothing new. I think 2018, heading into January, we all only knew that like there was like Super Smash Brothers coming out, and then some other smaller titles, but we didn't know much. So it's nothing new that we only know a few things heading out into the year that Nintendo is going to release. So there might be a lot, there might be a little, we don't know yet. But it still could be enough for the Nintendo Switch to carry out to the rest of the year. That's what I think. And when the time of the Direct comes, I want you, all of you viewers who are smart, look into like the little details that Nintendo says. They're not going to reveal a brand new console in the Nintendo Direct. But this is what you gotta look out for. You gotta look out for the release dates. Look at the release dates and look at like the months games are releasing. Especially like the main Nintendo games, because third party, they can release their games and then later on say like, oh yeah, this is also coming for the Nintendo Switch too. They can do whatever they want. But for Nintendo, I don't think there will be like many games that would be like simultaneously releasing, like maybe one. like Zelda did. But I don't think there would be too many. So look at the release dates. If there's like a lot of games that seem to come out in the later half of the year, then I would be really suspicious of whether or not a Nintendo Switch 2 would be coming out. That said, there is one exception to what I just said, and I don't think it will be revealed in the Nintendo Direct, and that is Pokemon. Because Pokemon traditionally releases their games in November, and there is also Pokemon Day coming out in, I think, 27th of February. So that's also something you gotta look out for. And if Pokemon says like, hey, there's a brand new cool Pokemon game coming out in November of this year, I don't think that nullifies the chance of a Nintendo Switch 2 coming out. Because they've actually done that a few times. Yeah, but you gotta look out for the release dates, and if there's like a game that's like relatively big, not releasing this year, they announced like, hey, Metroid Prime 4, 2025, then I think it would be a bit weird for Nintendo to release it for an older console, but not the newer console. So I think if they were releasing it only for the newer console, it would just be, I think it wouldn't be talked about for like the Nintendo Switch at all. It would just be moved. It was probably, if it comes out for the next console, it was probably moved there a couple of years ago. Like the decision was made. They won't just press the port this game to another console button, because that button doesn't exist. So yeah, it's very interesting to see what happens this month. I think this month will be very decisive when it comes to whether or not another console will come up. But yeah, I'm excited to see what happens, and let me know down in the comments below, what do you think will happen. And if you like this video, of course, I do a lot of these discussion type videos on current news or other exciting design stuff in games. So if you're interested in that, hit subscribe as well. And what really is something that the algorithm likes is watch another one of my videos. So do that as well. So hope you enjoyed this. Like, subscribe, comment down below, blah blah blah. I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.